Who wants to hear a story?
Me!
Dora! I need 2 volunteers! Okay, here's how the story goes. So there's these 2 guys on a bench. And one of their names is, what's your name? Brady. Now it's just a coincidence that this guy's name also happens to be Brady. It does not relate to him in any way. It's a coincidence, the guy in the story's name also happens to be Brady. And then there was another person, and his name was, what's your name? Owen. Now it's just a coincidence that this guy's name also happens to be Owen. Now Braden, he was kind of weird. He always wore this like hat. It was like this like cap that like stuck really far out. It was like really. What are you laughing at? Okay, like I said, it's just a coincidence. This guy's name also happens to be Brady. It's not you. Anyway, so he had this weird hat, and then he kind of walked like this. It was like really weird. And so then there was Owen. Now Owen had these like weird ears that almost like flapped like this. When he walked. He almost could fly with them. It was really strange. It's just a coincidence that your name also happens to be Owen, okay? This isn't you. Whatever. He also had a weird nose. Anyway, so this guy walks up to him, and this guy's name was Tyler. Now it's just a coincidence that my name also happens to be Tyler. And this guy was beautiful. He had all around him. And he was just counting his money, frolicking towards me. And he says, hey, you guys want to hear a story? Okay, so there are these 2 guys on a bench. Now one of them's name is Braden, and the other one's name is Owen. And they're just sitting on this bench playing poker and having a fun time when all of a sudden Owen wins. And so then Braden gets really mad and he storms off. So this guy Tyler walks up like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, oh, I just played some game of like chess or something. I don't even remember what it was. I think it was chess. Relatively. Tic-tac or something. Anyway, so I was like, oh, that sucks. Hey, you want to hear a story? Okay. So there's these 2 guys in a bench. And when they're sitting there, and they're all upset, and like crying because they're stuck in the bench, and this guy Tyler walks up to him, and he's like, hey, can I go in this bench? And they're like, we wish you could, but there's just not enough space. You can't fit in. And he's like, what are you talking about? Of course I can fit in. And they're like, no, you really can't fit in. And he's like, of course I can. So he squeezes himself into this bench, and there's like no space. And he's like, I can't fit in this thing. And he says, that's what we said. You wouldn't fit in. So anyway, they sit there for a long time until he decides to tell a story. This man Tyler. The story goes like this. There's 2 guys in a bench. And so they sit there and have a fun time, and then the bus arrives. The end.